Vader's vault here with a brand new combat class saber release, the Guardian. All right, just a quick broad overview of the silhouette and the design of the Guardian in both the standard, shadow, and elite formats here. I just wanted to go over the silhouette. We wanted it to be very congruent between front and back. So the way I began the saber with the tapered belled emitter here, it's pretty wide at the here and tapers to a nice point there. We've got the forked cutout here in the front to allow some blade shine through to come out. We've got these flats that come through here with the angled sides, all of which all the edges have been chamfered. There are no sharp edges there. Then that continues to the features side. So on this upper area here where the switches are, all of the side work here, whether it's the side with the OLED screen or the side with the LEDs, that is also flattened just to be more congruent with the emitter design. That carries through to the flat sides on the handle there. You might recognize this as being similar to our protector. A lot of people love that grip for its sort of edge indexing, especially if you do any dueling or stunt work. It's just great to sort of feel that, especially if you've trained with other blades. You like to be able to index that edge. That carries through also to the pommel, which is a great mirror to the emitter. It is a slightly different form factor. It is a little slimmer than the emitter, but it carries similar features in that it has the flat panel here, the angled sides, the flutes, and then the forked cutout at the bottom. The bottom is solid, so it is not your typical saber pommel where vents are at the very end. As you can tell, we have these very large, beautiful vents that are cut horizontally to the saber, so it's just a very great aesthetic to have those cut through that way, and they're extremely large, let out a ton of sound, especially for the beefy sound font that Wansith made for us. That carries through all the different models. We just use different color schemes on the different features, being that we've got the shadow with the mostly blacked out and the silver accents, and then the elite has your flat black in the flat areas and your accent colors in the flutes and the rings. This model, the Guardian, will come in 3 different configurations. We will have our standard model, our shadow model, and our elite model. The standard, of course, is the as machined finish. It is the raw aluminum finish, and of course all of the accessories will come standard as aluminum. So the main switch bezel, the main switch inner button, and the auxiliary switch plunger will all be standard aluminum, as well as the frame here that goes where either the OLED or bar graph would be aluminum as standard, whether it's like this one, there is no bar graph or OLED, and it is aluminum, but it is solid, so there's no open window there. If you choose to get an OLED or a bar graph, then it would have the open frame like seen on the shadow here. And the shadow is also showing with the aluminum accessories because, well, it goes great with the black and the aesthetic. One other feature of this saber is on this side from the OLED bar graph, we have 2 side mounted LED bezels. Those will be default like you see them here. In this particular saber, they are non-functional. There will be an option to have them backlit with pixels, so you can program them to do different sequences, colors, whichever, using the graphics engine of the CFX. We have a pre-programmed sequence that they do when in standby and when on. You can certainly change that to your heart's content if that is the feature that you choose to add as an option. The OLED bezel, or the pixel LED bezels on the side will remain the same no matter which model or configuration you choose. Even if you choose to have them non-functional, they will be in place. The LED bezels, of course, being a very in-universe feature. Several movie hilts have had them, usually on the side and usually in red and green for the lighting format. So for the standard as shipped program, they are programmed to blink when the saber is on red and green. You of course can change that with the graphics engine. As mentioned before, they are pixels, so they could be any color that you wish. And it is as simple as drawing a picture in Microsoft Paint or your favorite pixel art program. And speaking of the graphics engine, make sure you go visit crystalfocus.net. Thanks to Tristan Cam, who runs that site, and he's done an enormous amount of work helping to develop and then helping to flesh out the feature that is the graphics engine, and has a ton, I mean a literal ton, of resources for blade effects, accent pixel effects, and just general configurations, especially if you have unique blade styles. He's definitely a site you want to check out. He has different configurators on there to help you design the perfect blade style or other effect that you might want. So crystalfocus.net, and it's Tristan Cam. Check it out. Totally recommend it. The shadow, similar to other shadow or dark variants of our combat class models, is mostly blacked out, leaving just enough accents to give it some nice contrast. In this case, we chose to have the flutes, the flats on the panel or the handle, the emitter, and the pommel all bare aluminum, as well as the rings there in the upper emitter area. That, combined with the aluminum accent pieces of the furniture there and the polished LED bezels on the side, really gives this thing that either it could go either way, dark side or just executive or more, you know, standard issue type look to it. It's very classy either way you want to play it, and I always love a dark version. Moving on to the elites, we decided to have our flat black areas in all of the flats. So we've got the main handle panels here are black, and the emitter and pommel areas are in the flat black. And then we've got our accent color. So when in an elite you have a choice of an accent color. The accent color will be in the flutes, as well as this ringed neck area. So the flutes at both the pommel and the emitter will have the accent color. As you saw earlier when I had the red, the blue, and the purple, that can create for some real striking color combinations, especially with the black and the bare aluminum. And of course we will offer different weathering options. As you can see with this Savage weathered copper. This is probably one of the first times I've had Savage weathered saber on camera for a video. So what is Savage weathering? Well, it is a medium level of grime. And it also includes some battle damage or some wear damage. So we have some nicks, we've got some shrapnel marks, we've got cuts and scratches and digs into, you know, powder coating and hard edges, as well as the, like I said, the medium level of grime. Some starburst impacts from, you know, taking a stray hit of some sort in several places. Just something to give it character, maybe a story of its own that you don't really know, but in any case, it adds a lot of visual interest to the outside of the saber. Like with the other saber models that we are using that have these types of accessories, the standard will be aluminum, but we will offer, as seen on this gold elite, brass options, or this copper one. We have copper options for the bezel, inner switch button, auxiliary button, and as well as the OLED frame can be in the different metals. So you can have aluminum, brass, or copper for those metals. The auxiliary switch can also be lit, backlit RGB, as with these two models. You will see that it is a clear plunger instead of the aluminum. If you don't want it lit, it can be a solid metal like aluminum, brass, or copper as well. All right, so we're going to go into the operation of the saber and show you how it works and show you the different features. So let me spread them out here so I can show the different ones, because we have OLEDs, we have non, we have bar graphs here to show off. So let's power up one with an OLED screen. All right, so over here on the side is, of course, like our other sabers, Protector, Sovereign, Promethean, Ardent, and now this saber, we have the OLED screen that you can get in either a blue or white pixel, and if you choose a white pixel OLED, you can add a color filter, which I will show in a minute on the shadow here. That is the OLED screen there on the side. This one also happens to have both switches lit, so that is an option that you can choose, whether you want this to be a solid button or you want it to be backlit with blade matching pixels. Same with the auxiliary switch. On the side, here are those pixel accent LEDs. Currently, they are blinking red and green. Turn the saber off, and they go into a sort of color strobe pattern where they slowly change through all the colors in the spectrum. Of course, like I said, that can be changed. It is something that is not set in stone. Those pixels, as well as the blade, can be made to do anything that you desire, because pixels are addressable individually. Along with the options that you can choose with the switch, if you choose the backlit RGB switch, you can also choose, not only can you choose the insert metal, but you can also choose to have it engraved. And that is something that can add a lot of flair to your design. If you want something specific, we offer an array of different symbols that you can choose from. So this is only though if you choose the backlit switch, and you can choose the paid for engraving option on that switch insert. So don't choose the engraving unless you have also chosen the lit RGB backlit switch and pay for the engraving option. Similar to the OLED filter, don't choose an OLED filter option if you haven't chosen the white OLED screen. What that gives you is basically the ability to have different colors of OLED that aren't actually available in the OLED screens. As you can see here with the red. Red is a very in-universe color for a screen like this, so it's a very popular color choice with the white pixels, but we've done everything from neon green to rich royal blue to purples to pinks to yellows and ambers and oranges. They all look great, so whatever color you want, just put it in the notes when you choose your filter color. Like our other models that have similar switch functions, we have your main switch here for operating. Press and hold to wake it up when it's asleep, and then we have turn it on, hold to turn it off, your auxiliary switch. All right, press and hold. Okay, let's get a blade in it. Sorry if the sound drowns out. Like I said, it's very loud saber, and it's a very loud font. Has a very almost organic or living, breathing hum to it. I don't know if that'll come across on camera, but you can actually feel it in your hand as it resonates through the whole hilt. And of course, spectrum. To get into spectrum, just tap both buttons here. You'll hear it say spectrum. If you have an OLED screen, you can actually watch the color profiles change, so you know what number you're on. If you don't like a certain one, or you do like a certain one, you know which number it is. And tap to lock it in. Very, very powerful ignitions on this thing. I just love it. Been playing with it all day. When your battery's dead, it opens at the grip right here at this joint, like most of our other combat class models with the fixed chassis design. That gives you access to your battery, your USB-C port. Your battery is accessed by just unscrewing the speaker pod just enough to see a gap between it and the battery, and you can simply pull the battery out back up is easiest, and that also gives you access to your SD card up in there. You will need tweezers to get comfortable access to your SD card if you need access to it directly. Put your battery in your charger or pop in a freshly charged one. To do so, button side towards your blade, put it in first, click it down, tighten this nice and tight to where the battery doesn't move, and then you screw your grip back on. Blade retention screw is right here. It is a 1032. We give you the 3/32 Allen wrench along with your USB key in the box. That USB key will have your manual, your CFX manual, helpful links, as well as a backup set of files. So if you get curious and mess something up, you can restore it to the way it came to you when it got there. We've shown you the OLED screen, and we've shown you what it looks like with nothing. This is what the bar graph will look like. It's going to light up the whole panel there. The bar graph is, of course, pixel, and it will do its own program. You can change it. Same with the pattern of the side LEDs that you can change. You can change what color and what pattern the bar graph does, whether it's in standby or in operational mode. So as you can see, it's doing a different pattern here. When you turn it off, it goes back to a more slow scroll through the colors. So all of that can be changed to whatever color and whatever pattern you so desire. This saber is extremely well balanced. It follows the very comfortable and very usable form factor of several of our other hilts, and is extremely gorgeous to hold. Especially, I can't imagine also, especially with our new Evo coupler, having two together in a really awesome staff. That would be very Exarchun almost in nature, with the tapered emitters that we've got here. The heavy emitter and the heavy pommel really give it a great spin, ability there. It just fits real well in the hand. Really easy to do twirls and back spins and everything. It's so loud. I love it. This is one of those sabers that maybe I could actually hear at a convention where you can barely hear yourself think. You'll probably be able to hear this saber pretty well. So I'm looking forward to having this at some of our shows. It's just a great looking saber. It can be mean, it can be aggressive, it can be Sithy, it can be very regal and royal looking and clean. It just fits all the different aesthetic bills, and I really love it. And combined with the sound font, that could go either way as well, thanks to Wansith. Please check out his other work on saberfont.com. If you're new to lightsabers, saberfont.com is like iTunes for lightsabers. There's thousands of different lightsaber sounds that you can choose from. It's a great site. Definitely check it out. This saber, again, will be live tomorrow, Friday, June 9th, 2023, at noon in both the Ready to Ship section and the Configure Your Own Saber section, which is our normal combat class saber section. A lot of different options you'll be able to choose from if you don't see something already ready to go. Once again, that is www.vadersvault.com. Thanks again, and enjoy your sabers. The Guardian.